In this video, we'll demonstrate using both MDI and manual mode to take a face cut on the workpiece. So as you can see, the machine is currently not locked, so I don't have to unlock it. I'm going to shut the door. I'll start the spindle using MDI. Go into MDI and I type in the command that I want, M03S1200. Input that and hit cycle start. And the spindle is now running at 1200 RPM. Now, I'm going to select manual mode. As soon as I select manual mode, the spindle does stop, but now I can control the spindle using all of these buttons over here. This is all the spindle override, and then some of the buttons that you use while you're setting the machine up. So at this point, I would start the spindle back up. I can turn it back on by hitting clockwise. I can stop it. I can turn it on counterclockwise, and I can stop it. Normally, I want to run the spindle clockwise for cutting. So I have the spindle at clockwise, and now I'm already in jog mode. So now I'm going to bring the master tool, which is tool number 1, into the cutting position. I can do that by making sure I'm on both limits up here, which I am. So the machine is jogged all the way back into the tool change position. And then I can use these 2 buttons here to index the turret. As I look inside the machine, I can see I'm currently on turret station 2. You can see the number on the front of the turret. And so I'm going to hit tool index in the negative direction 1 time. And now I have tool number 1 in the cutting position. It's down at a 45-degree angle. So now I'm going to bring that tool in, touch off on the face, and perform a facing cut because I have a saw cut on the end and I've got to qualify the end of that workpiece. I'm going to use slide jog to get close. Okay, I'm about 2 inches away from the part, so at this point, for the sake of safety, I want to start using the pulse wheel here. So I need to move Z in a little bit further. I'll move X down in front of the workpiece. Want to take a lot of care doing this. I'll move the Z in. I'm in the fastest jog speed currently, but when I get very close, I'm going to drop down. Okay, I'm about 50 thousandths away from the face of the workpiece, so now I'm going to slow things down, going to 1,000th per pulse, and just come in until I barely touch the end of the workpiece. Okay, I brought it in, it touched the workpiece. I actually did back it off 1 click so it's not sitting there rubbing. And now I need to move the X back in the positive direction. So I'll go to X, I'll go to the faster jog speed, so I'm moving really away from the material. Okay, so I've moved up far enough to clear the diameter of the workpiece. And now I need to move Z back. I want to take about a 20 thousandths pass on here to clean up the end of the workpiece. So this is facing on a lathe. This particular speed here is 5 thousandths per pulse. I want 20 thousandths, so I'm going to move 5, 10, 15, 20 thousandths. I'll go back to X. I'm going to slow down the speed. And now I can just take a cut by using the hand wheel. And I'm going to come in. So I'm cutting. I'm going to cut to the center and go very slightly past. Very slightly past, and I'm going to go all the way back until I clear the workpiece. Okay, I've cleared the workpiece by maybe 250 thousandths. At this point, I want to stop the spindle and take a look and make sure the saw cut has been sufficiently cleaned up. Stop the spindle, open the door, and let's take a look at it. It looks like that wasn't quite enough to clean up the entire end of the workpiece. So the saw cut must have been more crooked than I thought. So at this point, I'm going to shut the door. I'll take another 20 thousandths pass. So I'll go back into Z, 5 thousandths per pulse, 5, 10, 15, 20. And then I'm going to take a face cut by going into X, and back into 1/1000th per pulse. Of course, I do need to turn the spindle back on or I'll break the tool. So we'll turn the spindle back on clockwise, and I'll just take one more cut and see if that cleans it up. Just slightly past center and then all the way back, clearing the workpiece. And I've cleared the workpiece, so I'm going to stop the spindle, open the door and take a look. And now I can see that the face of the workpiece is completely cleaned off. And at this point, I could proceed with my setup.